Joel.
Hey Maurice, how are you?
Good, brother. How are you? Man, I know your face, so I'm like, there he is.
Same. Your
Yeah.
picture shows up in my email, so I kind of got an idea.
Oh, I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. It's good to meet you finally.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah.
I expected to be home. I've got a studio, I got a nice Blue Yeti mic, I got all these cool things. I'm on an iPad this morning, so
Oh, okay.
we're at the Grand Canyon right now. I'm on a 30-day road trip. Like things just totally different than what I expected them to be.
Well,
So
but
I do have a decent mic if you want to try changing it up or not.
you
I don't know
sound
how the
great to me,
quality
but
is.
if you, I don't overly worry about that type of stuff
Okay.
because a lot of times I would even just have my iPhone out and about in the world and just start recording because that's just real life. I'd rather live in the real world, man.
That's exactly right. I do the
Yeah,
same
brother.
thing.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. So have you listened to the podcast at all? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
have?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I haven't gotten to the last few episodes, but I've caught a number of them.
Oh man, that's awesome.
There's
That's awesome.
certain ones you have that really like spoke to me. Like you had a woman on not long ago, and I want to say she was like living in France or something, and just like talking about the stuff she was talking about resonated so deeply with me. That was a couple months back.
Sally Mohammed.
That's it. Yeah,
Sally
she was
Mohammed.
great.
You know what's crazy about Sally's story? So she's Palestinian, living in France now. She was like you, or like both of us, technology oriented, working at Microsoft and Google, and then became a coach,
Yeah.
an EQ IQ coach. She will be here at my house tomorrow. For
Come on, no way. How cool is
real.
that?
For real, brother. I have 10 mastermind participants coming to the house tomorrow because we've become tribe. We're all helping each other design life. Everybody is a Joel, from my
Yeah.
opinion, that's coming to the house tomorrow from all across the world. So it's pretty cool.
And you're back home for now in DC,
Yeah, man. I'm back in Maryland. I live in
Maryland.
coastal Maryland,
Yeah.
and I help people design life. And one of the reasons I wanted to get you on the podcast, man, I don't remember how I found your story.
I emailed it to you.
Oh, is that how it was? Okay, perfect. I could not recall,
Yeah.
and I
I heard a
read it.
couple of your podcasts, right? And then
Yeah.
then, then Sally came on. And I was like, oh man, I got to reach out to this guy. Like he's speaking my language. So
I love it. Thank you for sending that. Thank you for being a model for people. And then I grabbed your story and I put it out as a newsletter, which got a
mm,
lot of responses from it. And I wanted to get you on the podcast to just articulate your story. And before I have you get going, let me just say that a lot of people who listen, they're like you and I, corporate life or government life or the standard career of sorts. But they all have this buzz inside. They all have this feeling inside that they should be doing something different. Maybe they're following somebody else's version of success. And maybe, as I was at Accenture when I was there, I was very happy, but there was a point that came when I knew that something was talking to me from the inside to do something out. The difference between you and I, the difference of you and I versus other people is we acted on it. And
mm,
it's very hard for people to jump into act when they're in wonderful positions the way that you were and still are. So I just wanted you to come on and legitimately just walk your story and tell people what happened, what you're doing now, what occurred in that mindset of yours to take a leap of faith and go look out for your own body and your own mind and your own soul.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot there, man.
Yeah.
What? Well, how do we want to time box this? I noticed you got like 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, we got about 45. Whatever you
Okay.
got. Maybe 30 to 45 will be
Okay.
okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. I've done a handful of podcasts in my tech career, as you can
Yeah.
imagine. So yeah, good.
Yeah. Go for me. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and just the story, and we'll go from there.
Well, my name's Joel Krooswyk. I am a Midwesterner here. Lived in the Chicago area my whole life. Lived all the way around the city, but never in it, I like to say.
Yeah.
And I've been in technology my whole career, and that's what fed that. I chased that around, and so I did everything that I was supposed to do. Right? I went to school. I got my degree. I got my job, and I chased that around for a lot of years. I got my degree from Purdue back in the 90s and jumped right into the tech world, which was, I mean, at the time, it's kind of crazy to say this, but man, I was working on analog modems, getting everybody online back in the day. And it was, looking back, it was really cool, right? Like I could say,
Yeah.
hey, I help people get on the internet.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. But then we just chased that around for a while because, you know, the tech world is the tech world. And so it's a constant eating of the smaller fish, right? Each bigger fish comes along and swallows the company. And after one company got swallowed 3 times, okay, let's move to the next one. And that one downsized because we hit 2001. And so I ended up out of tech for a few years, doing nonprofit work for like 3 years because it's all I could get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and that kind of triggered something in me back then, I think, too, because that's when I had 2 small kids and I was trying to provide for the family. And you can't do that on 40 grand a year living in the suburbs of Chicago. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
Of course.
that
Of course.
all of a sudden you're starting to do other work, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So where did you end up?
I did that for a few years, and at the time, you'll find a theme of restoration in my
Yeah.
story. I was
Yeah.
restoring or working on cars all the time. I knew just kind of what cars would dip in value. I'd figure out how to fix them, and I'd buy 6 or 7 in a row and fix them up and drive them and have some fun. Always sports cars or Jeeps or something, right? I had to have some fun along the way, but that was my nights and weekends. And unfortunately, doing that work plus some other side jobs on top of the regular job put me in the hospital.
Put you
Um,
in the hospital.
Put
Why?
me in the hospital. Yeah. Yeah. Like literally chest pains and just fell apart, not enough sleep, trying to do it all.
Okay.
And none of it was paying me enough to do it on my own. Right. And so
Mm.
I couldn't keep going without using all my time and provide for the family. And that was kind of a red flag. And so I had to jump back into technology for a while. Thankfully, the
Okay.
market recovered. I
Oh,
started
because you
riding that
jumped
wave.
out. You were just kind of doing that just to maybe that's that health and restoration thought process of something that you actually love doing.
Yeah, I do. There's something about bringing something back to where it should be. It's just that simple, and that translated later into after 200 and some cars that we've owned, translated
Oh,
into the real estate thing. Right? Is eventually I
okay.
said, okay, no more cars. Let's do something that makes sense. And I have an engineering background, a tech
Yep.
background.
Yep.
Real estate makes sense to this brain, right? You hear that story over and
Mine
over.
too. Mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So eventually, going back into the tech world, we stabilized ourselves as a family, and came through my 30s and just worked and provided for the family, and all of a sudden had that moment where
Mm.
40's right there, and that's
Mhm.
the existential crisis that really changed my life. And I wish I'd had that moment at 30 when I was in the hospital, but I didn't. Right?
Mhm.
I waited until I was almost 40 years old to go, wait a minute, this isn't working. It's really not. My net worth should be X according to everything I'm reading, and it's X minus way too much.
But what wasn't working? When you say exist, that means different things for different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what wasn't working for you?
The fact that I could see myself working the rest of my life, but I was in technology, and everybody was warning me by about age 50, you need to be ready to shift out of technology. That's just how that space works. And I've heard that from a number of people. And I realized I'm on a trajectory where there is no break at the end, right?
Hmm.
I'm on the gas forever. I just haven't gotten ahead. And we're thrifty, conservative type people. We just don't have an extravagant life. We never have. So that was a real wake up call of I have to do something different. Otherwise,
But was your company telling was the space telling you that? The company was telling you that? Were you not getting promoted? Was the salary stagnant? What was giving you a sense?
I was climbing the ladder. I was
Yeah,
moving into management. I was moving into sales. I mean, I was on the trajectory that looks great.
it looks great.
You just didn't realize it was enough for what you wanted out of life,
Yes.
right? That's
Yeah.
the moment that I had. And when you're coming up on 40 and you realize, wait, I'm like halfway, theoretically, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
where are we going with this train? And the answer was, I'm going the same direction. It's never going to change. And
Yep.
and that kind of got to me, I think. And so we started looking at, well, what do we do to change this? And that's where things get good.
But before you move on, it got to you.
Yeah.
So you you came home one day and maybe the feeling was building? Did something happen? And whatever the answer to that is, somehow you recognized it and grabbed onto it. So what was that for you? Because maybe other people are experiencing the same thing, or they've been through it and kind of ignored it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you when you're in a work environment that you hear it a lot these days, the word toxic is thrown around, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it toxic, but it wasn't right. It was just a lot of hours. It was a lot of Friday nights working on documents I didn't get to because of the meetings. It
Yep.
was the thing that really broke me at the end was we need you to travel and okay, travel's fine, but we need you to travel to all these places that you don't want to go,
Right.
right? And so I was looking at being on the road for a month or more at a time on behalf of a company that wasn't really paying me to go
Yeah.
into parts of the world that I wasn't comfortable to go at the time,
Yeah.
and to do trainings and things like that. And I just said, that's it. I'm done. It
Hmm.
snapped me. It broke me and made me wonder, what do I want out of life if I don't want this?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about, so if it snapped you, by the way, kudos to you for listening to your own instinct, listening to your own self. I I was fortunate in that I was doing real estate my whole journey. So when
Mm,
the time came, I facetiously articulated as I got off career highway and merged onto lifestyle lane. I had some thought process to it, but when people feel that feeling, it's really hard for them to grab it and to do something about it, especially because I think, and I've always stated it, peers, coworkers, neighbors, family, they're all in your ear saying, listen, you got a great job. You have a great career. This is what a family man does. This is how you're supposed to act. Your dad did this, so you should be doing that. So I'm curious, did naysayers come around? Did you have that fear thought process? And how was your wife in the whole thing? Because obviously she's your partner in life.
yeah. Yeah, man. You're spot on, right? The peers are like, what do you mean you're going to change? What do you mean you're not going to go get your MBA and keep riding with the rest of us? My parents, I think, have been some of the folks that misunderstood me the most.
Yeah.
And I've had to dial into other people who have been successful, both in their career and in the real estate world, to say, okay, how are they handling this? Because I hear all the negative side from the people that I know. Wait, what the people that are on the fringe that I know are doing this? How are they doing it? Are they successful? And it turns out, oh yeah, they're doing great. There's just things you need to know. And so, yeah, that support network was missing, man. That was really, really hard to overcome.
Hmm.
Fortunately, I fell in with some really good people when I landed a more sales role, a field sales type role, that was better for the income, that allowed us to start really looking at, well, how do we purchase a real estate, right? How do we
Okay.
move forward? How do we get started in that world? And
Hmm.
that's what it took. I had to overcome not only what was going on in my head, but what was going on in the voices around me. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So you got a more flexible career
Hmm.
and somehow recognized that, look, let's from a family perspective invest in some assets to start to set us up better for the future.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's coincidental. There's a part of this story I have to tell, and that is
Please, please.
where we got on the stability of finances. Getting the family stabilized and getting this new role and more flexibility in the work, a little more work from home, and then travel as needed. Right, all that was good. At the same time, we lost my wife's parents,
Oh
one
man.
a year apart, right?
Okay.
And that was back in that era of 2012 to 13, kind of. And there was this like small inheritance there, and it was, I mean, $27,000. I don't remember what it was at the time, of funds that were allocated to us. She had a big family,
Mhm.
and so we said, how do we honor the legacy of her parents? And I said, this is our moment. I've been studying, I've been reading, all these books on real estate and doing all my homework, but we haven't jumped in. Let's see if we can take that 25 grand and do something with it. Like, this is the
Wow.
time. This is the
Wow. Ah,
opportunity.
yes, I remember reading that. Right, 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 right. Yeah.
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 But Okay, we're in 2000. I don't know what year was that? What roughly?
So that was a 2012, 13 time frame.
Okay. So I can place myself in that time frame because that was kind of my freedom phase, if you will.
Mm,
But 25 grand, and I don't know if you were living in Chicago back then,
yep.
but 25 grand is not a ton when
Nope.
you're talking about big city real estate or anything that's in the general MSA or the metropolitan statistical area, but just big city real estate in general. So, okay, so people are listening. They're hearing that, look, you got a little bit of inheritance. God bless the parents for leaving a little bit to
Mhm.
facilitate. And how did you take that and create this real estate journey that you've been on with just 25 grand and a job, essentially?
Yeah, yeah, and a hope and a dream, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
exactly.
so here's what's interesting. Of course, in Illinois, the taxes are high, the home prices are high. We had to go an hour away into Indiana, out to kind of the edge of where suburbia was at the time,
Okay.
and we could find rundown houses at the time. Now, you know what happened 2008 to 2010 and the slow recovery that came back, right? The prices of homes were pretty depreciated at the time. So you could find a shack that was run down in the middle of winter, going into foreclosure, and pick it up under 100 grand at the time.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we did. We found one that was, well, it was, let's just say it's rougher than we should have probably bid off for our first one,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and put some money in it and fixed it up and just learn the hard way, right? I always say that we're the people who started an HGTV show and knew nothing, and as a
Yeah,
family, we
yeah,
just charged in. And I
yeah.
remember laying in a crawl space underneath that first house, um, using a home equity line for a chunk of it and using that 25 grand for the rest. And I'm looking at pipes and I don't understand how they work, right? And that's the day I learned that PVC and CPVC are different things. I just
Great.
didn't know,
Great.
right?
Yeah,
But everything was frozen and split and whatever else. And it was just that moment of learning. And that began this journey.
yep,
And, getting that first one done, it took,
yeah,
I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months, a
yeah,
lot of remote work right out of that house, and get done with your work day, and you'd work in the night and then you work the weekends and you drive an hour back and forth. But we fought with it until it was done. Had a young couple move in there and stayed for 3 years, and that just
amazing.
started to feed that fire of, wait a minute, we turned this wreck into something really
Yeah,
neat, and
yeah,
people love living here. We
yeah,
can do this again.
yeah. And I want to call out for you when I help people with real estate and even in my own real estate journey, I get asked the question, where do I start? And my answer is just with the first deal, meaning the first deal, don't worry about rates of return and it being perfect. Don't lose money,
Yeah,
but don't
please.
don't worry about the perfection of it. Worry about the momentum of it. Because
Yes.
what a first deal will do for you, and I can already tell it in your energy. It did this for you as well. It gives you confidence.
Hmm.
You do it's almost like riding a bike, right? Like you rode the bike, you fell down, and then you rode the bike again. I'm probably on the third thing that you were doing. You're starting to float down the street, and you get this confidence about it. You get better at it over time. Now you're starting to hop curbs. Now you're starting to pop wheelies and things of that nature, and you find yourself on your fifth deal. But now you've gotten better and better, and this is akin to the Tri-Life on principle that I espouse called life is something you practice. It's not a destination. Real estate investing or any kind of investment, whether it's in an investment itself or self-education or whatever, you just you just do it. It's the journey. It's not the necessarily the return and all those things. So I think it's pretty awesome that you got your momentum from something so casual in a way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's kind of interesting too for us. We are pretty risk averse. We're
Yeah.
pretty debt averse. And so for us to jump in like this and just start running, it
Yeah.
means we had to overcome some things that we grew up with. But thankfully, you mentioned my wife earlier. I mean, we're on the road right now doing a 30 days for 30 years road trip.
I love it.
So as I'm coming to you, now from out west, it's fantastic. What a great trip so far. We she's been the greatest cheerleader, and she's been
Yeah.
right there alongside me, and we've had to do a lot of the work together. There was a lot of times we didn't have the money, we couldn't pay the contractors to do it, right? So we had to
Hmm.
do it
Hmm.
ourselves and learn it. The number of kitchens we've hung by now together is pretty staggering, but it's a
Wow,
great time.
amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
The right partner definitely matters. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, so I went back. I was looking at the story that you sent me, and it said, okay, so you started with the 25 grand. I'm always hesitant to say numbers, but I think numbers can sometimes be a measure of activity, not necessarily
Hmm.
success or whatever. But you started with 25 grand. You ended up with $1 million in real estate or more over the past 11 years, and you found yourself, quote unquote, in freedom. And freedom means a lot to, there's a lot of definitions for different people. What do you mean by freedom? Did the real estate truly facilitate that? Was it a mindset related freedom as well? Just talk to me a little bit about what you mean by, okay, 11 years later, we've hit freedom and we're kind of on our way.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because of the way we did it. We're not doing the Burr method, or we're not like doing a lot of different doors. We did our journey very, very differently from what a lot of people do. We did it small scale. So to
Yeah.
build to freedom for us meant that we recycled every dollar that came out of a rent
Yep.
into the system to pay them
Yep.
off. And my wife frequently reminds me, I said no more than one every 2 years. And then when we were doing one a year, that was, wait a minute, what's going on? But we did that. We did about one a year, rehabbed it, rented it
Okay.
out. And when that first renter was done 3 to 5 years later, we said, well, okay, do we keep it? Do we sell it? How's the market? What do we do next? And we just
Right.
kept rolling the money back in. So we never took a dime out of it.
Same here.
The
Same here.
freedom now is I don't have to worry if I lose my job. I
Hmm.
don't
Oh,
have
you're
to,
still working. Well, I know you're on a bit of a
yeah,
sabbatical, but in
yes.
general, you're still working.
Yeah, I mean, it's my job right now. Interestingly, we bought another property in July because it was a great opportunity, and so my job has been working on this property, and it's work when you want, do what you want that day because you can. So that freedom is first of all the mindset, right? Of okay, I'm no longer tied to the salary. I'm no longer tied to a W-2 income. I can take some risks. I can take some more adventures in life and not worry about it. I've got a secondary flow of income coming off of these properties. And so those kind of things really make a difference. I think the second thing that created a freedom for us was
Mm.
we were buying them on the fringe in this town. What I failed to mention is they were kind of near a private lake that's pretty quiet. And as
Okay.
a couple of foreclosures crept in, we crept onto the lakefront with these properties. So all the properties we have at this point are lakefront
They're
properties.
lakefront. Oh man, you're on water.
Yeah. So you can't lose with that, especially over the last 5 years. That's been
Of
a real
course.
blessing.
Of course.
And so there's a freedom in that as well, because it's also created a lifestyle of freedom for us. There was one of them we said we can't rent this. We moved in. that
Oh
was
wow.
that was
Wow.
2021. So that freedom also allowed us to enjoy a life freedom, a change of pace for ourselves, is much slower pace. We moved in, didn't even realize it was Sunset Point, out looking over the
Hmm.
lake, right? We just got
Hmm.
lucky. And so we now have a boat in the backyard. We now have the ability to just think differently about life, to go out and sit and sip a drink while sitting on the dock watching the sun go down at night, and it changes your emotional health.
Yeah.
So freedom is huge in this particular case, right? Now I
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
picky and choosy about what jobs I take, and if I want to look at the lake for the next year, I
Yeah.
just will only take remote work for a while.
That's right.
Whatever, right? It,
Right.
it opens all these doors.
Yeah. And I haven't said in a while. It just popped in my mind, but maybe you can comment on this. I've said to people before, okay, so I hit my freedom number, if you will, when I was age 38, but I decided to stay working for another 8 years in tech and in the military and policing too. Um,
Yeah.
and at age 46, then I bounced. And what I tell people is, they're like, but Maurice, you did 2,000 units of real estate and you did A, B, and C. And I said, that is not what got me my freedom at all, actually. It was the initial stuff that I did. Let's say your first 11 years of stuff. And when you cover your freedom number, which is what I call covering your basic needs, your
Mm-hmm.
housing, your food, your shelter, your kids, there's something that happens. And I wonder if you've had this experience. And for me, it was I was having life outcomes compound on each other. And by that, I mean, I didn't need $1 million in a month to have $1 million experience because I
Yeah.
had the time. So I would do things like, and I'm a traveler, so I would do things like pop over to Turkey for the weekend because I had time and a little bit of money. But while I was in Turkey, I would run a 5K. And then while I was running the 5K, I would meet this awesome person. And then we would go have lunch together. And then I would meet his or her family. And then we'd end up down in Bodrum on the Mediterranean. And it was just this constant, like every time I had this experience, another experience followed because I had the free time behind it. And what people think you need $20 million to be free, and you just don't. And I'm
No.
wondering if you've had that compounding experience as well.
Yeah, I'm 5 years behind you on that. Right.
Okay.
My moment like that came about age 50. I finally
Okay.
hit a number and realized, wait, our passive could cover our expenses. Now we're not gonna, live large on it, but we
Yeah.
can live well. And we
Yeah.
started living different, right? Because now the pressure's off. I had an outstanding job. I quit that July 1st of 2025, just out cold because
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I'm burned out. So there's thing one, right? I'm going to take some recovery time, but it's time for passion projects. It's time for this
Yeah.
30 days on the road to
Plug it
explore
in.
the things, right? And I love your story because you've taken what I'm doing and you've blown it up global scale. I think
Yep.
one of the things that really helped me do this, and this goes directly to you for credit.
Mm.
You talked about boundaries and different obstacles to overcome in life and the
Yeah.
boxes that we kind of put ourselves in. And man, I've been living in my own geographic boundary for so long.
Ah,
I
okay.
would travel to
Okay.
DC for work, or I'd stay home, or we'd do these little trips around. But like, that's part of why we're out here. I'm opening the aperture a little bit right now and saying, okay, for 30 days, I don't want anything familiar at all.
Yeah.
I want everything to be a new experience.
Being
And
you.
and like you said, we're seeing people,
Yep.
all these former coworkers and whatever else, and it's just such a great, inspiring thing to see people I haven't seen for years. Friday, we're seeing a guy I haven't seen in 20 years. He was a really good
Amazing.
friend. I moved away. I'm so stoked for that, right?
And that's what adults forget. Adults have forgotten how to explore.
Yeah.
Adults have forgotten that there's this emotion of life that we used to naturally have as kids because we weren't constrained yet by societal definitions and societal confinements, except for what our parents told us and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
intrinsically, you weren't thinking, you were just out there being, you were out there experiencing, and you didn't know. Remember when we would run out, like we're in the same age bracket, but I remember when I was 8 years old, I would go outside and just run around. I had no idea where I'd end up for the day.
Yeah.
So my
Exactly.
my world today of 6,000 miles in a day on a plane used to be running through my neighbor's backyard, and it was the same concept. It was the
Yeah.
same concept. So what I want people to get from what I'm saying is it's not the place, it's not necessarily all the time the people, it's the feeling of it. It's the feeling of it. And once you get it again as an adult, then you start to realize that, wait a minute. And I think that's the existential crisis sometimes when people go on a trip or they feel that lightness of life again, that I want to explore that amazing thing. And you're kind of out there doing it again wherever you are in age, and it doesn't really matter, with your wife floating around the US. And it doesn't need to be Turkey or Greece or France, or it can literally be down the street in Illinois or over in Wisconsin or down in coastal Alabama, which is super beautiful, by the way. And
Yeah.
people's numbers are much lower there, so you can get your freedom faster. But, just any thoughts that you have on just that free, going through those emotions again at this stage in life and what that feels like.
Yeah. First of all, I love Gulf Shores, so I'm with you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah,
It
exactly.
is. Yeah, I think there is something to that. This is one of the first trips we've taken in quite a long time where I'm not looking at the boundary of coming home. I'm not worried
Yep.
about when I come home and what I have to do next. And that is such a great feeling. You're right. It is kind of akin to childhood because there's a few times now where I've had conversations that have excited me. And I'm like, wait a
Yeah.
minute,
Yeah.
what's that? What this
Yep.
excite like I want to go on that journey. I want to do this entrepreneurial thing. I kind of want to try doing that. That sounds great. Those feelings are creeping into my head. Man, it's been years. It's been
Yeah.
years
Try,
since I
try
had
life on
those.
doing that and that and that and feel this and feel that. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah, try
forget.
life on is exactly the right words for where we are right now, man.
I
It
love
just
it.
feels right. So
Love it.
I'm
I
thrilled to
love
be
it.
talking to you today about this.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that. I saw your post on LinkedIn a while ago when you kind of announced that you were rolling out of employment for a little while. And I wrote what, oh man, I can't find it. But oh no, you said, and it was in your, most recent position. You were like, right
Hmm.
now, prioritizing health and restoration. And now talking to you, I don't know if it was restoration of stuff or restoration of you, but it doesn't matter. It was restoration of you.
Yeah.
I you and I probably resonate with each other. I read that and I'm like, oh, this brother's happy. And because in that description of what your quote unquote job is, there was no fame to it. There was no title to it. There was I'm actually living right now. I'll be back for this stuff that we do that we were told is the purpose of life, called these jobs. We need them, don't get me wrong. And if
Yep.
something is a purpose of yours, like me being a police officer or whatever, cool. Like that's freedom. But I love that in your job description, it was just like, yeah, I'll be back to the bullshit later. I like the bullshit sometimes. I do too,
Yeah.
by the way. I like working. But there is this life. We are supposed to be here. And the fact that you had it in your description, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, somebody told me, my career went really well the last 10 years. It,
Yeah.
it just took a trajectory I didn't see, and I wish I would have seen that earlier too, of course. But as someone said to me, as I posted that and said, "Hey, I'm going to go focus on health for a season, restoration," and somebody said, "Well, I mean, good for you, man. You touched the ceiling." And I didn't think about that, but I kind of had climbed as high as that role was going to let me
Uh,
climb
yep.
in
Yeah.
any company. Quite honestly, it's about as high as I'm going to go,
Yeah.
holding the CTO title at the time. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you can get there and scratch the ceiling and you come out the other side and you're not thinking, wow, I did something amazing here. Instead, you're looking over and saying, hey, there's a project house across the lake. I bet we could get that, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a note to you that, oh man, I should probably change gears, right? It wasn't about the success of the career. It wasn't about the income, which was good, all right? There was this other side of life, that freedom that started calling. And so now I think I have several opportunities, as you can imagine, that have come to
Yeah. I
me
was gonna ask you
already.
what's next. What's next for you?
Yeah, I don't know yet. It's funny because I'm saying, I'm like 52 years old and going, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. But
That's the best. You're winning. You're winning. That's the best place to be. We have so long to go.
yeah, yeah. So
Man, I love that.
yeah, it could be consulting. Somebody could call me with an obscene amount of money to do something that triggers me and create some interest for me for a year. It's very unlikely to be that though, right? I want to start creating purpose. And so I'm looking at the era of AI. And for instance, one of my focus areas was talking about software development forever. Well, now I'm looking at it as, what is humanity doing in the era of AI? We just keep throwing AI at people. What's the structure going to look like when AI is the leader, right? It's AI led work versus AI assisted. There's
Yeah.
a whole thing there, right? And that's gotten my attention of, how do I help people with a prioritization of what their place is in this modern new era.
Yeah.
I would love to jump into something like that, right?
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah.
consulting era, the just helping frame that out for corporations that are trying to figure out how to give people purpose in an era where machines are taking it away. Like there's a whole thing there that has lit me up. Now that wasn't even there a week ago, man. A week on the
Yeah.
road
Yeah.
does that. So
Yeah.
pretty exciting.
And that's the benefit of, I hope people picked up on your emotion and genuine energy around that. That's the benefit of going on whatever relative freedom journey that you're on, or at least awareness journey that you're on, because you get to this point where you can get excited about things again. That's why I always have that mantra of is, freedom doesn't come from $20 million. It comes from intention. It comes from planning. It comes from a designed life. It also comes from basic finances, of course, and not falling into the commercialism trap and all
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of things. And You've clearly done it. I think you are a wonderful example of the art of the possible. I'd be curious if you're going to actually go back to work one day. But um, what would you just as a parting thought? Look, there are a lot of Joels out there.
Yeah.
And by the way, what's your wife's first name?
Beth.
Beth. Okay. There are a lot of Joels out there, and there are amazing Beths. And I know Beth was a stay-at-home during the core journey. There are also Beths who work and Joels who don't. I mean, we're all over the place. But you
Yep.
guys have done things a certain way, and you are trying life on your way. You've created some level of freedom for you guys to do what you want to do, including while you raise two kids. Speak to somebody else who's in your position, who's on the fence, or who has an opportunity to take that great salary that they make and put it into something that will free them rather than going the status quo route of things.
I think I give two or three things
Yeah.
actually. First
Yeah.
and foremost is don't wait.
Yeah.
Right? Don't put the limits on yourself that other people put on you. Think bigger, open it up, read, listen to the podcasts that open your mind up a little bit. And don't wait to do that, right? Life gets in the way and we don't think about it. We just trudge forward and keep our focus. But the reality is the aperture's got to open early. And so, I think first and foremost is just don't let yourself get boxed in.
Mhm.
The second thing I think is look for opportunity, right? Life gives you opportunities. Luck favors the prepared, right?
Yeah.
Always be ready for that opportunity because it's going to come. Real estate is one of those things that goes up and down. If that's what you might be interested in, keep an eye out. There will be a moment where there's a prime opportunity that comes again. When I got involved in real estate, I know a guy who bought 40 properties, including a half dozen on St. Thomas. He was set for life
Oh,
within
wow.
5 or 6 years, right? Like
Wow. Wow.
luck favors the prepared. So watch for that opportunity. I think that's a really big thing. And then the third thing is, I've always called myself a realist. When
Yeah,
was the
man.
last time you heard an optimist call themselves a realist? It's never that way. So
Yeah. Yeah.
try to always look for the good no matter what's going on around you because, I mean, this trip has shown me that again. People are
Yeah.
fantastic. Opportunities are absolutely everywhere. You just got to pause and take a look and see what's out there because you'll find it quick.
Yeah, and I will add to your amazing 3 points. Connect with the Joels and the Maurices of the world. Find
Yes.
people who are not interested. Again, I don't have a problem with people climbing ladders or
Mhm.
whatever, but if you have an instinct, an inner voice that is telling you to do life a little bit different than the herd is doing it, than the crowd is doing it, you're on to something. The challenge that people have, I was just talking to someone about this today. My core 17-year freedom journey, which involved me traveling and real estate, multiple careers and all that, I was very lonely. I call it, when I used to post on LinkedIn, I left social media, but I called it entrepreneurial depression. I didn't know
Mm.
what else to call it. I felt so lonely doing a career during the day, police officer at night, real estate, traveling, hustling, because I could never find Joel. There was no LinkedIn. Google was around, Facebook had just started. I'm like, what? Why do I feel so awful wanting
Yeah.
to live my way? And I'm
Mhm.
so grateful that 23-year-old me took a chance and just did shit his way. But
Yeah.
what other people can do is find Joel, find Maurice, find other people, join a WhatsApp community, go on LinkedIn, find the people who are like search instead of searching for a job, search for financial freedom or geographic freedom or time freedom. Who's talking about it? What are they
Yes.
doing? Why did they leave status quo? Then I think along with the 3 points that you made, folks will be onto something. They can go try life on their way. And man, I'm so happy you finally came on. And oh, and thank you for reaching out and telling me your story. It has helped a bunch of people. Now I'm going to go put in our global WhatsApp group that I just interviewed you and look out for it next week. I'm going to put it out right away. And I hope you share it with people as soon as it comes out because then you can inspire other people, Joel. And I'm so happy for you and your family, what you're doing, and that you took a shot on self.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on, and again, thanks for your messaging. It really has helped me frame how to take where I am and
Yeah.
take it all to the next level. So I appreciate you, man.
Amazing, brother. Amazing. All right. We'll be chatting soon.
Thanks.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
I
you.
appreciate
I,
you,
I
man.
don't do things near the scale that you do. I can't, that's not me, but the freedom thing, like you said, it's not 20 mil for us. It's, maybe a 10 to 20% of that, right? That's kind of our number.
I would tell you, this freedom thing, whatever we're doing, is no different than the climbing the corporate ladder thing.
Mhm.
No different than I did 2,000 units of real estate, but I know people who are free with 3 units of real estate. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever, makes you happy. And we're motivating each other because you're actually motivating me to pay more attention to what's going on in the US and maybe get in a camper and roll around and explore my own country even more. It's just that I'm kind of living dual country right now, so my life is a bit hectic, but
Yeah.
I'm happy doing it. We got to choose what we're happy with.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll say this, man. Right now, tourism's down a little bit, right? So you can get in places. It's. I don't know. This has been great compared to what everybody told me to expect. There's far less people. It's all right.
Go do your thing, brother. Go do your thing. I'll get this out. Thank you so much, man. And yeah,
Yeah, I'll
stay.
give this a boost as soon as it comes out. Thank you.
Okay, boss. Take care of yourself.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, this is Maurice, host of the Try Life On podcast, and thank you for listening to another episode. I hope you are finding it useful and helping you design your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. If that's the case, please consider dropping a review for me, whether in Apple, iTunes, or in Spotify. Drop a review, put some stars on it, give me some feedback on how I can make the podcast better, what information you are looking for. I am doing my best to get information to you on the Try Life On principles, the 5 freedoms, how to build lifestyle, travel hacking, all of it. And I want to do it for you. So please do a review for me. And until next time, my name is Maurice Philogene, and this is the Try Life On podcast. Peace.